subway signals can be dangerous work. Tonight, investigators are looking into the death of a subway worker who was hit by a train on the Upper West Side.
We have breaking news down the Upper West Side. A train has hit a transit worker, actually has killed him, trapped him under the train. Number 3 line service is suspended.
After the death of a subway maintenance worker, he was killed when he was hit by a train yesterday, and now some are asking, did the transit...
After the death last week on the tracks of 2 transit workers, but there remain several unresolved safety questions.
Hey, Charlie, what you doing?
Hey, Howard.
Morning, Charlie.
Morning, Chris. How was your night?
Not too bad. Just had a dark signal, track circuit a couple hours after that. Nothing big.
Yeah, but we didn't get to finish the stuff we were scheduled to do.
Oh, yeah, thanks for reminding me. Listen, Charlie, you think you can help us out a little bit? Just a couple of stop arms that need to be gauged and painted.
Yeah, no problem. Steve and I'll take care of it if we have the time. Where is Steve, by the way? He's usually here before me.
Haven't seen him. He must be running a little late.
You'll take care of that for me, right, Charlie? I don't want to get tied up with this routine stuff before I go on vacation. I'll pay you back.
Yeah, okay, no problem. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, take care.
Take care, Charlie.
Yeah, see ya. I wonder where the heck Steve is. It's not like him to be late. What time is it? Should have been here by now. Hoyt Street. Clyde.
Yeah, hi, Charlie. It's Bobby over at J Street.
Yeah, Bobby. What's up?
Listen, Charlie, Stevie had to take a day off. He won't be coming in today. I have nobody to fill in for him right now, so you'll be on your own for a little while, okay?
Yeah, okay.
If I can't find anybody to cover the job, you might have to help out on another section. All right, just sit tight, and I'll call you back in a little while, okay?
Yeah, okay. No problem. What happened with Steve?
No, nothing serious. He says he has to take care of something with the house he's trying to buy. He'll be in tomorrow. Listen, Charlie, my cell phone is ringing. I want to take this call.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. Talk to you later. What the heck time is it anyway? 8:25. I hope he finds somebody. I really don't want to sit around all day, and I really don't feel like going to another section. With my luck, they'll send me to the other side of the system. Then I'll have to come all the way back here to get my car. I'll just have to wait and see. I don't want to have to wait around here all day for Bobby to get back to me. Maybe I'll just call him. Busy. Figured. Probably forgot about me. He said he was going to call back in a little while. That was an hour and a half ago. Maybe there's some small jobs I can take care of on my own. Something I can get done without Steve having to help. What routine stuff do we have scheduled for the next couple of days? Most of this stuff I'd need Steve to help me with. Hey, what about that stuff Howie and Chris were talking about? Something to do with stop arms, gauging them or something? I'll probably be back before Bobby remembers to call me. Now, where were they? Here it is. Good. They're one stop away. Right near that spur track that's hardly used. Good. This will be a piece of cake. I can go there, gauge those 2 stop arms, and be back before anybody knows it. And I can definitely take care of this without Steve. I don't even need him to flag for me, since that spur is hardly ever used. I don't think they use it to turn trains anymore. I'll probably even have time to stop and pick up lunch on the way back. anyone knows it. This must be the place. This'll take less time than I thought. Let me just put out the flasher, just in case. Probably won't need it though. Train should be coming soon. Once it's past me, I'll knock this one out real quick. This one will look like new when I'm finished.
Where'd this guy go? I thought I told him to wait for me to call him.
And here comes the next train, right on schedule. Right after it passes, I'll take care of the other one and head back to the quarters.
Hello, train on 4 track. Would you come into the tower with your call letters, please?
Transfer from Westchester Yard to Court Island Yard on 4.
Yeah, transfer. Due to congestion, I'm going to have to drop you back on the spur track. Is that a copy?
That's a copy to the transfer on 4.
Transfer. Once you get down on the spur track, change ends. Is that a copy?
That's a copy to the transfer on 4.
I hope he's okay.
This must be the one. Let's finish this up and get back to the quarters. Oh my God! And that's how it happened. This incident could have been prevented had the rules and regulations governing employees working on the tracks been followed. These rules and regulations outline the procedures that protect you from the major hazards found on the tracks. The major hazards to be aware of when working on or near the tracks are moving trains, energized third rails, physical condition and configuration of tracks. At least one of these hazards is always a factor in all employee accidents on or near the tracks. The cause of employee accidents on or near the tracks can always be traced to employees forgetting the seriousness of these hazards and by not working safely. The most frequent causes of employee accidents on the tracks are stepping onto a track without first looking in both directions, walking in the same direction as train traffic, not clearing up properly, not setting up or working without proper flagging protection, obscured vision of train traffic due to track configuration, encountering unexpected train movements, coming in contact with an energized third rail. All these causes can be neutralized and accidents eliminated by following established methods and procedures as outlined in the MTA New York City Transit Rules and Regulations. These methods and procedures are taught to all personnel whose duties and responsibilities require them to work on or about the tracks. Under no circumstances will any employee be permitted to enter upon the trackway until they have received the proper track safety training and are duly qualified to enter upon the tracks. Before any work is performed on the tracks by you or any employee, your supervisor must hold a pre-job meeting to designate a flagger, describe the type of flagging protection to be used, as well as outline the work to be performed. The designated flagger will not perform any duties other than those of a flagger. The supervisor must also provide an opportunity for you to discuss all concerns you may have about the work that is to be performed. The supervisor will also ensure that all employees are wearing the proper personal protective equipment. All employees working on the tracks must familiarize themselves with all general orders that may be in effect in the area where they will be working. You must verify that this information is current by contacting the interlocking tower for the work area or the RTO Control Center Desk Superintendent. Before entering upon the tracks, you must notify the RTO Control Center to inform them of your location by train line, nearest station, track number, and survey marker. You will also tell the RTO Control Center the type of work that is being performed and the type of flagging being used. You should also give your department, name, title, and pass number. Remember to get the name, title, and pass number of the individual you are speaking with. You should remember to look in both directions for oncoming trains before descending to the trackway. When using a ladder to descend to the tracks, you should exercise caution and always use the 3 points of contact rule of thumb. The 3 points of contact rule of thumb should also be used by all employees that may have to climb up and down a train. 3 points of contact will help prevent you from losing your balance while climbing up or down from the tracks or a train. Simply stated, the 3 points of contact rule of thumb emphasizes maintaining a secure grip with both hands and secure placement of one foot, or secure placement of both feet and secure grip with one hand, to maintain balance and safe ascent and descent. While performing any duties on the tracks, you must always wear your safety vest. You should not wear loose or ill-fitting clothes, tinted or dark glasses, or any device that would impede your vision or hearing. Once on the tracks, you must be constantly aware of your surroundings and alert for oncoming trains. Keep in mind that the use of continuous welded rails has diminished the noise generated by oncoming trains. Also, newer train equipment run quieter than those of the past. You should always be aware of no clearance areas and safety niches. You must also be extremely cautious when walking along the trackway to avoid slipping, tripping, or falling hazards. Remember to walk against the normal direction of traffic, being mindful that trains may run in either direction at any time. While walking on the tracks, you should stop before turning around to look behind you for any reason, especially for oncoming trains. You should only walk in the area of track where the cross ties and ballast or concrete are, or on approved walkways, such as bench walls or catwalks. You should avoid walking or stepping on running rails. Also, never walk between a running rail and the third rail. Always assume the third rail is energized and avoid walking or stepping on the third rail protection board. Avoid walking over, on, or near the moving parts of an interlocking switch. You must be aware that the switch can be activated at any moment, and never assume that an area of track is out of service. Employees not working on the tracks, such as train crews walking to a train on a storage track or personnel walking to an interlocking tower, do not need to display any special warning lights or flags, nor to set up full flagging. They do, however, need to be equipped with an approved light and all necessary personal protective equipment. They must also exercise caution when walking on the tracks. MTA New York City Transit has established a uniform method and procedure for all employees who perform work on the tracks in pairs or small groups, and who may move from point to point along the tracks. No employee is allowed to perform any work on the tracks at any time at any location, unless accompanied by a qualified flagger. You should keep in mind that no work of any kind is permitted on operating tracks from 0600 to 0900 hours, or between 1600 and 1900 hours, Monday through Friday, unless there is an emergency. Emergency work during these hours must be done under full flagging protection. In fact, All work of any kind, at any time, done under river tubes, must be done under full flagging protection. Work being done on the tracks by a pair or small group must be able to be temporarily stopped safely at any time. Upon approach of a train, you must be able to stop what you are working on and be able to move out of the way of oncoming trains safely, quickly, and easily. You must be alert at all times and must have a clearing up space or safety niche within 15 feet of your work area. Whenever you're working in a pair or small group engaged in work, at least one person must act as the flagger, as outlined by the group supervisor at the pre-job meeting. This flagger is responsible for warning of approaching trains and for the safety of the rest of the group. The flagger must be equipped with a whistle, a flashing yellow light, and approved light when working in underground tunnels, or when working outside between sunset and sunrise. If the work being performed is outside, between sunrise and sunset, the flagger must be equipped with a whistle and an approved fluorescent orange flag. The flagger will place the light or flag 650 feet from the beginning of the work area and will perform no duties other than acting as flagger. The flagger must be positioned no less than 50 feet from the work area and be able to communicate with the workers and have an unobstructed view of the caution light or flag. If, for any reason, the flagger's view of the light or flag is obstructed, or communication with the work group is not possible from the flagger's position, full flagging protection must be established before any work may be done. If the work being done is between two tracks, or on a lead track, loop track, or mainline middle track, or where it's not uncommon for trains to operate in either direction, an additional flagger equipped with a whistle and flashing yellow light or fluorescent orange flag is required. Each flagger will place a light or flag 650 feet from their end of the work area and will not perform any other duties while acting as a flagger. Each flagger will be positioned no less than 50 feet from the end of the work area, and both are responsible for warning the work group of approaching trains from their positions. Whenever work is being performed on a station platform within 2 feet 6 inches of the edge of the platform, or you're working on a ladder that is within a distance equal to or less than the height of the ladder, a flashing yellow light or fluorescent orange flag must be placed no less than 650 feet in advance of the work area and in the tunnel, open cut, or elevated structure. If for any reason the sight of flashing yellow light or orange flag is obscured, full flagging protection is required. In all cases, the flagger must be able to see the light or flag and be able to see and communicate with those in the work area. Otherwise, full flagging protection must be used. When any work being done requires full flagging protection, the supervisor of the work group will not allow any worker to go on the tracks until full flagging protection, as outlined in the pre-job meeting, has been established. Before flagging protection is established, the maintenance supervisor will notify the RTO control center and request permission to set up full flagging protection so that track work may begin. To establish the basic full flagging protection, at least 2 qualified flaggers are needed. One flagger will set up the necessary lights or flags, while the other flagger watches for and warns of approaching trains. The correct way to set up full flagging protection is for you to first set out the green light or flag. The green light or flag must be placed no less than a maximum train length from the end of the work area for the subdivision where the work is being done. Next, you place 2 yellow caution lights or flags out at a point on the tracks not less than 500 feet nor more than 700 feet from the area that has been selected as the flagger station. If your view of the caution lights or flags is limited or obscured for any reason, an auxiliary flagger must be used to warn the work group of approaching trains and be stationed at the furthest visible point from the flagger. The caution lights must be placed with an unobstructed view 500 to 700 feet from the auxiliary flagger station. If they are still not visible, an additional set of caution lights must be at the furthest visible point from the auxiliary flagger. You should set up the flagger station no less than 150 feet from beginning of the work area. The flagger working the flagger station will be equipped with a whistle, a red light or flag, a white light, a portable train stop, and a stout piece of cord 4 to 6 feet long attached to the red light and portable train stop. Any auxiliary flaggers being used will also be equipped with these items with the exception of the white light. Auxiliary flaggers will be equipped with a yellow light instead. The portable train stop is attached on the outside of the running rail to ensure the positive stop of an approaching train should the train operator fail to acknowledge the stop signal given by the flagger. When setting up the portable train stop, be sure to attach it to the outside of the proper rail for the division where the work is being done. In Subdivision A, the portable train stop will be attached to the outside of the running rail that's on the same side as the train operator's operating position. In Subdivision B, the portable train stop is attached to the outside of the running rail, opposite the train operator's operating position. Regardless of the flagging setup or the work location, the flagger station must be set up 150 feet in advance of the work area. This completes the basic full flagging setup. The basic full flagging protection setup has many variations you may use depending on the track configuration for the area where you're working. Different track configuration will require the use of additional caution lights and additional flagging stations to ensure you and your coworkers' safety and the safe passage of trains. Your supervisor will discuss the track configuration for a work area and how you'll set up flagging protection during the pre-job meeting. For a more detailed explanation of the various flagging setups, you should refer to your MTA New York City Transit Rulebook. There are several ways you can calculate the correct distances to place the flagging lights or flags and portable train stop within a flagged area. All tracks are lettered, numbered, and measured from a predetermined fixed point. Subdivision A tracks are numbered across from south to north. In Subdivision B, all northbound tracks are even numbered, and all southbound tracks are odd numbered. If the work area has a middle track, it is designated as M track in Subdivision A, and as track 3-4 in Subdivision B. Every signal is equipped with a signal survey plate that has the track designation and survey number on it. Survey markers are stenciled on subway tunnel walls. In the Subdivision A, the signal survey plate or survey marker on the tunnel walls may read something like A8604. The letter designates the section of tracks. The last digit of the number designates the type and direction of the track. When calculating the distance between two signals or survey markers, this number is not used. In the B division, a signal survey plate or survey marker may look something like A4296. The letter tells you the section of track, and the number the type and direction of the track. To calculate the distance between two signal survey plates or survey markers, subtract the smaller number from the larger. Next, add 2 zeros to the end of the resulting number. This is the distance in feet between the two signal survey plates or survey markers. For instance, survey marker X is designated A4296 and survey marker Y is A4304. 304 minus 296 equals 8. Put 2 zeros after the 8 and the distance between the two survey markers is 800 feet. Another way to measure distances, though perhaps less accurate, is to count the number of columns or survey markers on the trackway. Columns on the trackway and on station platforms and survey markers on the trackway are standard distances apart. Columns on the tracks are spaced 5 feet apart. Columns on the station platform are spaced 15 feet apart. Survey markers are spaced incrementally 50 feet apart. The hand, flag, light, and sound signals you use to communicate with your co-workers being protected and the train operators on trains are standardized and must be used at all times, regardless of the type of flagging protection, whether it's point-to-point flagging or full flagging. When you're flagging for others on the track, and you see a train approaching, you should alert everyone by blowing your whistle once. You should continue to signal the train with the proper hand signal until it comes to a complete stop at least 1 car length away. You may use any color light to signal the train to stop. Once everyone has cleared up properly, They will signal you with a proceed signal and 2 short whistles. You should acknowledge their signal with 2 short whistles of your own. Then, after you have concealed the red light and removed the portable train stop and cleared up properly, you will signal the train to proceed by moving your hand, a white light or yellow light, and an up and down motion. It's important to remember that a proceed signal can never be given with a red light. Train operators are taught that any signal given with a red light means stop. The train operator should acknowledge your proceed signal with 2 short blasts of the train horn. Train operators should then proceed with extreme caution, operating at no more than 10 miles per hour, being prepared to stop within 1/2 their range of vision. Train operators are taught that if a yellow light is used to give a proceed signal, they can expect to find more flaggers and workers on the tracks ahead. Train operators are reminded to operate in accordance with the aspects being displayed by any fixed wayside signals they may encounter as they proceed through a work area, and any fixed wayside signals at or near the flagger station. As flagger, you must be careful not to give a proceed signal that conflicts with any fixed wayside signals. When working on the tracks, all workers should clear up on the same side of the track. When clearing up between columns on the tracks or in a recessed safety niche in a tunnel wall, you should have a handhold on the columns or wall to steady yourself and turn your eyes away from the passing train to prevent any arcing from temporarily affecting your eyesight. You should avoid clearing up between 2 tracks where there are no walls or columns. If it does become necessary to clear up to an adjacent track, you must make certain that there are no trains approaching on the track. If a train is approaching on the adjacent track, you must signal it to come to a complete stop before anyone can be allowed to clear up to the adjacent track. At no time should you allow trains on both tracks to pass you simultaneously, where there are no walls or columns between tracks. Another thing you must keep in mind when clearing up is that the newer car equipment is longer. This greater length creates more end and center excess on passing trains. This means the end of train cars will swing out farther than expected on the outside of a curve. Similarly, the center of a car will restrict clearance on the inside of a curve. This is also true when a train is going over a switch. You must take these facts into consideration when clearing up near curved track or switches. One last thing about clearing up on the tracks: always be aware of no clearance areas. Be extra cautious in these areas, as you'll have no place to go if a train comes along. When performing any duties on the tracks, you must always be aware of where the third rail is. The third rail is energized with 600 volts of electricity. Avoid contact with the third rail under all circumstances. Always assume the third rail is live, regardless of what may be said to the contrary in any general order you may be working under. Keep in mind, the limits of any power off area and the limits of the general order are not necessarily the same. In fact, some general orders operate with the power on. Also remember that you should never sit, stand, or walk on the third rail protection board. Another reminder for you is to never walk between the third rail and the running rail. Coming in contact with an energized third rail will result in serious injury, maybe even death. In the event you're working near a live third rail, you should place a rubber mat, specifically designed for this type of work, over the third rail. It's important to check if the mat is torn or in need of repair. If it is, don't use it. Report it to your supervisor, who'll get you a replacement. Any tools you need to do your job when working around or near the third rail must be insulated with non-conductive material to prevent serious injuries. Another thing to keep in mind when working on the tracks is the contact shoes of a train. You should consider the contact shoes of a train an extension of the third rail. If any individual contact shoe of a car of a train is in physical contact with the third rail, all remaining contact shoes are energized with 600 volts of electricity, even if they are not in contact with the third rail. Physical contact with any of these energized contact shoes is extremely dangerous and will result in serious injury, maybe even death. Whenever you're working on the tracks in Subdivision A, be aware that the contact shoes on trains protrude 7 inches from the car body. Keep this in mind when clearing up in all areas of the tracks. When your work on the tracks is completed for the day, everyone must be off the tracks before you can begin to remove the portable train stop and lights or flags being used for flagging. Keep in mind that 2 qualified flaggers are needed to break down the flagging protection. One flagger will watch for approaching trains, while the other flagger removes the lights or flags from their position. Once everyone is safely off the tracks, the proper way for you and a partner to break down flagging protection will be to remove the portable train stop completely. You and your partner will then remove the red light or flag and hide it so you don't cause unnecessary delays in train service. Next, you and your partner will remove the yellow caution lights or flags. You'll remove the green light or flag and get yourselves off the tracks, always exercising the necessary precautions as discussed earlier. Once everyone is off the tracks, the supervisor or individual who called the RTO control center earlier will now call again and inform them that all work has been completed and all personnel are off the tracks and all flagging lights or flags have been removed. Service disruptions are sometimes caused by maintenance of way equipment failure. Repairing this equipment in order to quickly restore service to our customers may require full flagging protection. To establish full flagging protection during service disruptions caused by equipment failure, where trains are stopped within the affected area, New York City Transit has established procedures that must be followed. These procedures will protect employees performing the repairs and help restore service for our customers. These procedures require the cooperation of maintenance of way personnel, rapid transit operation personnel, and the Department of Subways Control Center. These procedures will allow stopped trains to safely pass out of the affected area so that full flagging protection can be established and the repair work can be done safely. The Department of Subways Control Center will first order all trains in the affected area to stop and stay and wait for further instructions. Control Center personnel will next instruct all trains operating on any tracks adjacent to the affected track to operate cautiously at restricted speed and to be aware that maintenance of way personnel are responding to the affected area. Responding maintenance of way personnel, equipped with a flashing yellow light or fluorescent orange flag, a portable train stop, a red light or flag, and an approved light, will approach the first stopped train in the affected area and establish face-to-face communication with the train operator. Responding personnel will order the train operator to stop and stay, regardless of any other signal indications or aspects, until given further instructions by responding personnel. Responding personnel will then attach a portable train stop to the correct running rail for the subdivision. Next, responding personnel will place a flashing yellow light or fluorescent orange flag 150 feet in approach to the portable train stop. Once the portable train stop and flashing yellow light or fluorescent orange flag are in place, responding personnel will contact the Department of Subways Control Center to determine the total number of trains that must be moved through the affected area. It is important to remember that the portable train stop must be attended by a qualified flagger at all times, while responding personnel perform the required task to facilitate the movement of all stopped trains within the affected area. Before allowing any trains to resume operating within the affected area, responding personnel must inform the Department of Subways Control Center of any restrictions on train operation and service. The Department of Subways Control Center will inform all train operators on all stopped trains on the operating restrictions for the affected area. Once the number of stopped trains in the affected area is determined and the Control Center is aware of all operating restrictions and has informed all operating personnel on the stopped trains, responding personnel can begin facilitating the movement of trains out of the affected area. Once satisfied that all responding personnel are in a safe place and cleared up, and it is safe to allow the stopped train to proceed, the flagger will remove the portable train stop, conceal the red light or flag from the train operator's view, and give the proceed signal to the train operator. After the passage of the last stopped train, responding personnel will contact the Department of Subways Control Center and request permission to establish full flagging protection to make the necessary repairs. Full flagging protection must be implemented before any work can begin. If the proper rules regulations, and procedures discussed and demonstrated here had been followed closely, the incident that we witnessed earlier would not have happened. All the rules and regulations and procedures are designed and intended to protect and safeguard you, your co-workers, and everyone else whose duties and responsibilities requires them to go on the tracks. MTA New York City Transit is serious about safety, especially yours.